My wonderful partner here, when we were finishing that take, says, oh, I'm actually learning something. See,
yes,
really?
I'm learning a lot.
Wait.
Paddle tracking and shadowing.
Say it again.
Paddle tracking and shadowing.
There we go. These are the 5 most common mistakes I see holding players back from improving and ultimately reaching the 5.0 level. Mistake number 1 is the drop volley. It's when you're at the net, your opponents are back, you can keep hitting power, but you decide to try to use finesse and just drop the ball over the net. Ultimately, it gives your opponent a free ride to the kitchen. I had an advantage being at the kitchen line. Since I tried to drop the ball, I completely gave my advantage away and gave him a free ride to the kitchen, ultimately making the point even. The proper thing to do, if your opponents are back, keep them back. Never even give them the chance to approach the kitchen. If I decide to try to be cheeky, it may work 1 out of every 10 times. The other 9 out of 10 times, you're pretty much just losing the point on purpose. Mistake number 2 is driving 2 balls in a row consecutively from the baseline. The proper thing to do is if you ever drive a ball, you should always drop the next one. I see players, especially in that 4-0 to 4-5 range, be at the baseline and just endlessly drive balls. What it does is it puts you into this washing machine cycle of your opponents just hitting harder, deeper balls at your feet. You're just popping it up more. See, that's it. He got a good shot over here. I'm off balance. I'm never really gaining an advantage and I'm never really taking any ground. Completely got to the kitchen with no harm done. I was in complete control of that point. Whenever you're driving the ball, you should always drive it at 70% power with the intent to get an easier next ball to drop. I see most players swing at 100% power with the intent to win the point. It's the wrong mindset. When you have that thought process, you're either gonna swing into the fence or right at your opponent in their sweet spot. You're never gonna be able to get the ball to dip over the net. I prefer 70% power and maximum spin. My whole goal is to drive the ball so it dips over the net so my opponent has to hit up on the ball. When he's hitting up, it gives me an easier, softer next shot. Mistake number 3 is I see so many people dink with no intent and no purpose. They just dink to dink. There's no thought process behind it or a reason why they're hitting the shot. The kitchen is broken up into 2 separate zones. If we put our foot 1 step in like this and we draw an imaginary line all the way across, all of this colored in space right here is called the pressurized zone, and everything on the other side of that is called the dead zone. We want to be aiming all of our dinks in this pressurized zone, and the reason is if you can get the ball to bounce here, it's going to cause indecision in your opponent's brain. So do I take the ball out of the air? Do I step back? Do I let it bounce? As opposed to when the ball's landing here in the dead zone, your opponent just simply steps in and dictates the point. Here's the pressurized or aggressive dinks. Watch where they land. Oh, forget that one. Bam, bam. Now here's the dead dinks. So look at the difference. Look at the trajectory of the ball. Way different. So when we're dinking, step 1 is to try to get the balls all landing there. Good. This makes our opponents feel pressure. Bam, good. Good. And then you'll see, as soon as I hit a bad dink, like that, it allows him to really take control. The next intent we should have when we're dinking is we shouldn't be trying to win the point. This is what I see all 4.0s do. They try to win the point with spin. When they dink, it's like this. They're really chopping at the ball, wanting their opponent to mess up. It's the wrong mindset. The pros aren't doing that. So really, dink with me. Watch what I'm doing. I should not be trying to cut it like that. Keep dinking. Look. So much cut. I have like no control. The proper thing to do is you don't want to prioritize spin or power with the dinks. You want to prioritize placement. When I'm dinking with Ridley here, my whole goal is to make him take more steps than me. So what I want you to try is never dink the ball into the same spot more than twice. So if Ridley hits a ball out here, he should not hit the ball out here again. He should go to the middle of my body. He should go here. He should try to keep me guessing. Bring him wide. I go middle. Wide. Good. Next time you're out playing a game and you get to the kitchen line and all 4 players are dinking, I want you to try only hitting your dinks to the middle of the court and in front of your opponent's body. I want you to avoid dinking wide for the first 5 balls. You'll see that your opponent will beat themselves before you can even try to win the point or make something happen. Mistake number 4 is the confusion of which player should cover the middle. I'm playing with Ridley here. Somebody speeds the ball up. It goes right down the middle. We stare at each other like this. Who should have got that ball? That is the #1 most asked question that I get on my page, and I'm gonna explain it for you. The easiest, simplest way to break this down is whenever the ball is diagonal from you, it's your job to cover the middle. I dink the ball this way. We think the opponent may speed it up. It's my job to step here. It's his job to cover the line and his body. If he ever has to do this, that means it's my ball. The reason is the opponent in front of him is the shortest distance. So if this player attacks Ridley, he doesn't want to have to guess where the ball is going. He wants to think to himself and have the comfort that if he gets attacked, he's only reacting to his body and to his line. He's not having to guess to a forehand. It's too much going on. That's why I'm here. So I dink one, I dink another one, he speeds it up. Good, I practice closing middle. So see, I'm coming over the line. I am not standing here pretending this line's a force field. No, forget this line. The court is 100%, 100%. It's not 50-50. The next steps to make covering the middle as simple as possible are these next 2 things, shading and paddle tracking. What shading is wherever your team hits the ball. So Ridley and I are a team. Wherever he or I hits the ball, we want to take 1 step in that direction, okay? So if I hit the ball that way, let's just say I dink it wide to the corner, I see so many players do this. This is all they do. They don't move. They just stand and look at it. The ball's over there. All of this is open. The proper thing to do is I dink a ball that way. I take a step. Ridley takes a step. Notice where my paddle tip is facing. This is the paddle tracking. The ball is that way, my paddle tip is that way. So if the ball gets sped up down the middle, look, I'm here. I don't have to go and guess last minute. I dink the ball this way, okay? I'm not gonna stand there like this. I'm gonna step and have my paddle pointing toward the ball. This way, all the areas of most common speed ups are locked down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And if they speed the ball up and it gets through the middle, we know whose fault it is because now we've established a plan. A very common mistake for most players is when the ball gets sped up at them, sometimes they get chicken winged. The root cause of this issue is they're not paddle tracking properly. What I mean by that is if the opponent is in front of me, let's say we hit the ball here, catch it Ridley, bam, like that. Most players, the ball goes there, what they'll do is this. When they do this, it's basically telegraphing to your opponent that you're sitting heavy backhand, so this is more advanced, but if he is going to speed up the ball, simply speed it up over here, because I'm gonna get caught doing this. If we paddle track properly, now look at the difference. My paddle's here as opposed to here, so if Ridley now speeds up the ball, ready? Bam! But if he does this, look at my paddle, that happens. It's too hard to react. We need our paddle to be more neutral so we can go either way. Mistake number 5 is hitting outballs. Oh my God, is dodging outballs just like that. This is a hard skill that nobody has mastered, but if we can minimize the amount of outballs we hit just by 10%, that could be the difference between winning and losing a match. The key to dodging outballs is pre-shot cues, which means if I'm dinking with Ridley here, and he's dinking normal, and then randomly he gets a gigantic backswing, that ball is going out. He did something before he hit it that's telling me it's going out. Now, obviously, it might not be as concrete as that, but it's those little things that tell you if the ball is going out. Now, there's two very specific examples where if this scenario happens in a game, you can almost ensure that the ball is going out. So here's the first one. This is what it is. It's if Ridley hits a drop, okay, good. He comes in, I hit it hard, now he hits a reset from the middle of the court, hit a reset, that lands in the kitchen. If he hits one that lands in the kitchen and this opponent steps back and looks like they're going to hit it hard, the ball is going out. A very hard skill for people to learn is when they should concede the kitchen, meaning hit a dink, or when they should try and still keep them back by hitting it hard. Many people will freak out that they just lost their advantage and resort to just going crazy because their opponent's at the line. Here's what that would look like. Good, perfect. The correct way is I see he hit a great reset. I'm off my back foot. I should tap this ball into the kitchen and go into dinking. That's a very common example that you can use in your own game and you'll score so many points. Good. Thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I post one just like it every single week.